All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So finally get a chance to give you a little bit more extended time hands-on with the LG Stylo 4. Now, to my surprise, a lot of people are saying that, hey, this is just the best upgrade that has happened, and some others are saying it's not so much the best. But in all actuality, I've been using this phone now for 7 days, I think it is, and this is kind of a mini review for the phone. So I've already compared this next to the Stylo 3, which is obviously one of my favorite stylos. I think some people still use this phone, and it's absolutely great. But what I want to say is that the Stylo 4 is, again, I said in another video, is pretty much bringing you up to speed as far as what's happening in the US or what's happening in the smartphone game. And I should say the smartphone game period, not just the US. This body style, nearly every phone I have now has this body style. All of them. I can't even, pretty much every phone that I have close by has this body style of the 18:9 or 19:9. They all have it. This is just what it is. Literally every phone that I pick up pretty much has this body style now and this design, because this is the future of where phones are going. Now, in my opinion, I love the big screen. But the Stylo 3, in that comparison I did, I pretty much told you, the Stylo 3 is still not a slouch. It's a really decent phone. And the fact that you get that 16:9 ratio is still great. And again, this is a 5.7-inch display, and this is a 6.2. So are you getting that much more by switching and upgrading? You'll have to determine if you think you're getting an actual upgrade or not. But I would say that the Stylo 4, just using it day to day, as you can see, I was getting ready to see, there's sometimes that lag factor. Now, the phone could still be booting up because I did just power it back on. I rebooted it. And, it could be that. But every time, every now and then, not every time, but every now and then when I swipe up like that, I get just that little bit of lag. Why I get that lag, I don't know. One reason I would say is probably the 2 gigs of RAM. The Stylo 4 is definitely a force to be reckoned with when it comes to pocket friendly, as far as price goes, phones. But it's going to sound redundant, but the same issues or the same things that I pointed out in the other video, mainly the RAM, is the only thing that I see in the processor that could have been different in this phone, because T-Mobile is now selling this phone for $250 if you don't know, and then Metro sells it on sale continuously for $180, and then Cricket has it for $230. So. And I don't know if there's going to be a boost version out. There probably will be, but the phone is good. It's actually a really great phone, and the price, whether you think it's worth it. A lot of people ask, is it worth it to buy this? Is it worth it to upgrade? A lot of people now are asking, is it worth it to upgrade from the 3 to the 4? And I said it in the other video, if your phone is not busted, if there's nothing wrong with your phone, do not upgrade. There's no reason for you to upgrade. Like, what would be the purpose of you upgrading? If you just want to have something different, then go ahead and upgrade. It's your choice. It's your money. You do with it what you will. But I'm going to tell you, always, if you just don't need a new phone, don't buy one. It just makes sense to me. Just don't buy a new phone. But as far as what you're getting different, that seems to be the main question I get. Should I change from that phone to this phone? This phone needs to go. Should I get this one? You're just going to be coming up to speed as far as the way the phone looks. You're getting Type-C. You still have the stylus. You still have a great camera. But it's the same, you're just getting the latest software and things like that. And this phone is actually still getting software updates. It may not be on the latest software, but it's still getting software updates. So that's something to, pay close attention to. I really, really, really like the form factor of this phone, but it's a little bit heavier than the Stylo 3, and I mentioned that before. And the Stylo 3 doesn't feel as wide as it may seem, even though it is a little bit, just a hair bit wider. This phone, the 4, is still a pretty wide phone. Overall, the 4 is good. There's, in my honest opinion, there's nothing that's groundbreaking about the 4 that I'm going to run out and tell people grab the 4 if you have the 3. No, The changes come with software, and it comes with the Type-C. And to me, the cameras pretty much are almost the same. I don't see much difference. The Stylo 4, I've already compared these cameras, by the way. The Stylo 4 has good cameras, but the Stylo 3 has good cameras. So you have to consider why you would want to buy this phone. And if you don't have the Stylo line, let's just say you have, you don't want to spend the money on a Note 8, but you like the idea of having the little pen. That's where this comes in. There's a lot that you could do with this in so many ways, and it's a good look, man. I don't like though that you can only have 5 things down here in this menu. I think that they definitely should come with more than that. I should be able to put at least 10 down there, because if I try to put something else down there, it's going to say 5 is the limit. And I think all these applications are available, which is a good thing. But I guess if you're going to use this stylus, you're going to be using it pretty much for productivity. So it's nice. The pen is useful in its own right. And I'm not going to compare it anymore to the Note 8, saying it's not as useful as a Note 8. That's kind of, at this point, it's irrelevant, because I don't think LG is even trying to compete with the Note line with this phone, because of how they're bringing this phone out and keeping it in a mid-tier range or lower end range. So I don't know if I would even call this mid-tier at this point, based on some of the other mid-tier phones that are coming out with 6 gigs of RAM. I mean, this is considered to be a mid-tier phone. This phone costs just $200 more, well, about $100 to $175 more than this phone, but you're getting so much more. I mean, you think about everything that's in this phone. This is a way more premium build than the Stylo 4, and you're getting a better screen, in my opinion. You get the newer design. This notch thing is, I guess, the newer design. You're getting a 6.2 inch display as well, but it just, it looks great on here. This is a little bit smaller, as you can see. So, just overall, and the cameras are definitely better on this phone, and you have the Snapdragon 636. So if LG decides, hey, we need to go ahead and step our game up, I don't think they should go take the Stylo line from mid-tier to, or quote unquote mid-tier, up to like the 600 processor. They need to go ahead and kick it all the way up a notch to the 800 series processors, and move this line into flagship line. According to today's standards and what the world calls as flagship, I think they should move this phone up to that, because this phone has great battery. You don't even have to put on a Quad HD display at this point, because there's a lot of phones out there that are considered flagships that don't have a Quad HD display, but they have all the internals of a Quad HD display, all the little things that flagships. They have all the little things that flagships have, so to speak. So it's just a matter of LG's probably not going to do it. And if they do decide to do something with a pen or something like that, they probably wouldn't even name it the Stylo line. I don't know why, but they should stick with this line and push it to the next level. It's a good phone. I don't have any issues, just every now and then a little bit of lag. Battery life is fantastic. Overall, I keep, now this is one of the few phones that I actually keep in a case. I do keep this phone in a case, but I took it out just for the purposes of this video. But I feel safer with it in this case, because I don't want to drop it, because I don't want it to get banged up or anything like that. However, it's decent. It's a really nice phone. It's totally worth the $250 price tag. Well, let me back up. If it had a 600 processor, then okay, I would, let's say the 200 price tag is worth it. Actually didn't mean to spit that out like that. If it had a 600 processor, if it had more RAM, then yes, 250 is definitely a go, because I have other phones that have all those things. They have 4 gigs of RAM. They have more memory. They have double the memory as this. They have double the RAM. They have the better processor. And some of them cost less. Some of them cost $199, $189. There's plenty of phones out there that rival this phone that cost less and that actually perform better. But overall, folks, this is just a mini review. Maybe I'll show up later in about a week or two with another quote-unquote full review. But there's only so much you can do with a phone like this. This is a great daily driver. This is the person who wants some high-end features and specs, and they're not wanting to spend the money. This phone is for you. If you're on Metro, I could recommend this phone to you. If you're on Cricket, I definitely could recommend this phone to you, because Cricket's network, to me, in my experience, is much better than Metro. And if you're on T-Mobile, you know, I could say, if you're wanting to spend some money, I would say if you're on T-Mobile, try to find. If you're on T-Mobile, I would say go with something like a Moto Z2 Force. It's only $375, I believe. Or just other phones in that $200 to $300 range. You can find something. There's plenty of phones out there that you can find in that $200 to $300 range on T-Mobile. But this phone is good. It's just it just needs that RAM upgrade, I think, man. And unfortunately, we have to wait until next year. The RAM isn't killing off the phone that bad. It's just something that I'm just kind of questioning why it's not there. Like some models I've heard, like the Cricket version has 3 gigs of RAM, but the Cricket version doesn't have NFC and doesn't have turbocharging. I don't understand that. I don't know why these companies choose to do certain things with the devices, but a phone doesn't need turbocharging. But you know, it's just one of those things. But I tell you what would have been nice if LG would have stuck with this right here. Removable backs and removable batteries. That would have set this phone off, because it doesn't feel that premium. It just kind of looks the look of a premium phone. But this phone right here is totally worth the $100 or whatever, if you can still get them brand new. If you can find this phone brand new, I bought this brand new, obviously, but if you can find it brand new, definitely grab it. You know, comparing these two, like I've already done, the pen on this one is bigger. I like how it is, even though you can only put it in one way. I like how it's uniform with the phone when you do put it in. Like, you wouldn't even know that pen was there if you didn't know. Like, you can't even tell that it's there. You just can't. Some people ask about the speaker on this phone right here. It could be loud to me. Most phones now, when they hit the 80% up, they're really loud. And this phone is no different. It's got a really decent speaker. You know, nothing fancy about it. I'll test it out for you real quick here. Let's see here. Let's get some Wi-Fi going. And let's get a video that I know just has music in it. So let's see here. I'm gonna grab something that's a short clip that I did that only has music. Here it is. Let's turn the mic around. And see, to me, that's definitely not the best speaker. It could be so much more. Like at half volume, you can barely even hear that. That's just not good, man. But you know, some of the things where they cut corners in phones, we have no control over that. So this is a quick discussion video and kind of a mini review up to this point. It's been about 7 days. So, you know, this phone isn't a bad phone. It's just still lacking. It's like LG is afraid to take it to the next level. I can't say that enough. So if you do have the LG Stylo 3, keep it, man. Don't even bother upgrading, because especially if you don't need it. Now, if you just want to do it. So you can, you know, I think they have like return periods with Metro for 7 days or something like that. Do it. Try it out. Do it. If you just want to get the feel of it, because playing with it in the store is definitely different than playing with the phone in your house. You get to relax. You get to set up all your apps. You get to do everything. You see how the phone actually goes. So, thanks guys for sticking around for this discussion video on the LG Stylo 4. I still kind of favor the 3 in a lot of ways, man. So there you have it, man. Another video on the Stylo 4. I'll bring you more coverage later on. So stick around. Take care.